Fucking dick.
You know, two lawyers are standing next to each other. One looks at the other one and says, "We're both lawyers."
I don't get that.
Anti-joke, man. A horse walks into a bar. Several people stand up and leave, seeing that the potential danger of the situation.
Those are great, man.
Seeing the potential danger of the situation. There's a horse in this bar.
All right, Cracker Jacks, you're listening to the Hot Science Podcast. Get ready to jam.
Ho, 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 now I have a machine gun.
What does that mean?
That's from
Oh,
Die
from Die
Hard.
Hard, man.
From Die Hard, man.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, reference lost.
I'm Brad Cotter.
I'm Matt Forgy.
I'm Matt Livingston.
And you guys are listening to the Hot Science Podcast. Thanks for joining us today, you sexy, beautiful, lovely listeners.
So sexy.
I didn't get the Die Hard reference. I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It happens. I'm sure you're not the only one.
Truth.
But now you know, and that's half the battle.
Yeah.
And the other half is death and violence.
Mm-hmm.
They never talk about that on
They
G.I.
never
Joe.
talk about that.
You guys have any other Christmas wishes since last week? You've been thinking about Christmas, thinking about what you want out of Christmas? Anybody? Feeling anything?
No.
Not really.
Not really any new stuff.
Not
Just
at all.
still the day off for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll still just have that.
I'm still for, no world hunger and, no,
Yeah, I mean,
all that stuff.
Yeah.
No new wishes.
If I had two wishes that I could wish for this holiday season, the first would be for all the children of the world to join hands and sing in the spirit of harmony and peace. And the second would be for $30 million a month to be given to me tax-free in a Swiss bank account.
That's what you came up with since last week? Or is that another
That's the
Saturday
Steve
Night
Martin
Live?
thing.
I'm just continuing the bit,
God
man.
you're just
damn it.
continuing.
You're
the
off
Steve
your
Martin.
reference game tonight.
Everything's going right over the head today.
Well, it's all right.
It's okay. It happens. Some days you're on, some days you're not.
Some days you're on, some days you're on. Hey, guys. You know how I like to start a podcast? With a little segment called Interesting Things I Found on the Internet.
Nice. I'm excited. What's on? What did you find this week, Brandon?
Okay, well, I'm going to start out.
Yeah, do it.
I found this out on popularscience.com, although I'm sure it's on various other websites. You can find that NASA or some scientists of that ilk doing some research on earthworms and have found out that the common, normal earthworm can survive in simulated Martian soil.
Earthworms. Just the everyday garden variety earthworm.
That's right. And the purpose of this is so that we can potentially take these earthworms up and use them to help fertilize soil to grow farm
on Mars.
Objects. Mars farms and colonize. It's like when we colonize Mars,
Right.
we can use just regular ass earthworms to help produce
'Cause they're cool with
enriched soil.
So are we going to call them Mars worms now?
Well, if they're on Mars,
man.
they're Martian worms, dude. They're not earthworms. They're
Yep.
Mars worms.
Those are Mars worms.
Mars worms.
Mars first. That'd be the first animal on Mars. Yes, we would assume.
Well, besides, yeah. Well, I mean,
Because there's like
We're
bacteria or
fucking
whatever.
animals.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
and we haven't been there yet. I mean, so far it's just been the monstrosity
robots.
machine named Voyager that has lied to us and sent us various pictures of a red-tinted Arizona desert.
Obviously.
This is slowly turning into a
It's a
conspiracy podcast.
Well, here's my question. Like, that's all well and good.
Right. Cool.
I feel like NASA got this idea because that was in that book, The Martian,
Right.
and they saw the movie and were like, oh, we should try
We
that
should
out.
give that a shot.
Here's my question, though. This is all in preparation to try and colonize Mars. So, Matt Livingston,
Right.
should we colonize Mars?
Hell no. What's on Mars? Nothing.
A bunch of rocks?
A bunch of rocks.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've fucked our planet to the point of no return that we need to take earthworms, Mars worms, to another place to help us make food because we fucked this place. We're cancer.
Yeah. Well, okay. My thing with Mars too is it's actively trying to murder you all the time that you're there because it's terrible. It's Mars. The planet is not inhabitable. That's the whole point. why are we trying to colonize planets that aren't inhabitable if we're trying to colonize planets?
Because we can get there.
It's true. It's like 2-3 days.
It's the only one we can reach at this point. And it's like what Matt was saying, that if, it's like this world's going to shit. We might as well go to a planet that's already a barren dust ball and make the best of it.
That's not what I was saying. Maybe.
No, but I mean, I think that's the reasoning behind it.
Well, he was doing the cancer.
You're saying, we've already destroyed everything that's on Earth, and if we go to Mars, it's like there's not things for us to fuck up there.
Well, for us,
it's a desert.
What was Neo's master's name in the Matrix? Fishburne.
Oh man, if you didn't ask me that right now.
Oh man.
For us to want to go to another place and colonize it,
Morpheus
is the wrong thing.
It's the Morpheus scene. Humans are a
But why not? Why not? We're doing it in the name for science. I'm sure when we first shot out into outer space, there were people saying, "What's the point? What's the point of doing that?" Like, it's science, right? That's the point of doing it, so we can learn and we can figure out new things. Like, NASA's given us so many things based on space flight, like Velcro and, all sorts of other things that we use in a daily life.
Okay. What is the point? You go to Mars. Is it literally to, like, build a city in Mars for people to hang out on? Or is this just, like, an agricultural thing? It's like, we can do the thing with the earthworms now, so we're going to go up there and we're going to make some plants. Because do we need more plants? What are they trying to farm off of Mars that's any different than what we can do here? That's like this. That's the reason they need to go.
From a scientific standpoint, what can we do it? Yes, we can do. We have an RC car on Mars that's driving around and taking pictures right now because some motherfucker decided that was what we're going to do.
Check it out.
At one point, we made that happen.
Right.
We can do whatever we decide to do. But should we? No. We should worry about feeding motherfuckers on this planet.
That is a good point.
Before we're like, burn. Oh, we can grow earthworms and make palm trees on Mars. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, good for you.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, there's people that are in pain and that aren't having a good fucking time right here on this little rock that we're shooting around that we're currently killing.
Your neighbor just died because they couldn't pay for their health insurance.
I will say, devil's advocate, that whatever we learn from these earthworms may actually become technology that we can apply to what we do here on Earth that would enhance farming techniques, perhaps. Because you're taking an animal that already exists in our natural biome, you're putting it into a situation where it's harder to survive. So if we're improving... it's like, I guess they're not improving anything. They're just putting the worms up there and seeing that it works.
The worms just don't die. But literally, the outcome of this experiment is we put worms in Mars and they didn't die.
But at the same token...
And now, congratulations, science.
That may be a trickle-down effect that helps us figure out agriculture a little bit better.
Truth. Do we want to rate the earthworm?
No. Earthworms don't get rated. They're not real animals.
We're talking an animal.
I'll give a Marsworm a B.
Yeah, I give them. I was gonna say flat C for an earthworm.
Earthworms, no rating.
C.
No rating for earthworms.
Okay,
I give earthworm a C because Earthworm Jim. But just because the publicity of earthworm, they're a good publicist, but they're a terrible creature.
Just because they're Marsworms, have given them a higher rank than I would. I agree with the B rating.
Because the Mars thing. Because the Mars thing.
Okay, well, I got one more question for you. Does this mean that the movie Total Recall is a possibility now? Could that actually happen? Become 100%. A documentary?
100%.
Okay.
I hope it becomes a documentary.
Here's another interesting thing that Matt Livingston found on the internet today. You told me about this story.
Yeah.
Matt hands me this sheet of paper that says 13th human foot discovered near Salish Sea, British Columbia. This is a story on Newsweek. You can go to read it. And apparently... a severed human foot has been discovered in British Columbia in what has become the 13th detached foot found in the area since 2007. What's weird about this is that they're all in running shoes.
Yeah, 13 running shoe-clad feet.
Apparently, while running, they die.
People are losing their feet, man.
Well, to me, it makes sense that it's like accidents happen at sea, like things happen. Debris floats someplace, and it's like
running shoes at sea.
that's what I'm saying. Is it's like you would expect like a random arm or something to wash up but the fact that
they're wearing cross trainers.
Well, just severed feet. Feet in cross trainers, exactly. It's like this is just 13 feet have washed up.
That's more than a foot per
my
year.
My favorite thing is where's the other page? It's what the police.
Is it the dog thing?
No, the police.
Because you showed me that. Yeah.
No, there's what the police say happened.
A dog
basically,
found the last
police
foot.
say that it's either suicide or accidents that happen near the water. But my thing is like, why are you going to commit suicide wearing cross trainers?
Well, here's my question also.
Yeah.
That's a solid question because nobody commits suicide wearing cross trainers.
No, dude.
Just period. Yeah. I think everybody knows that.
I think that's like a barefoot, maybe a
but if
flip-flop
somebody
situation, something like
say,
that. You know?
Say somebody commits suicide wearing their cross trainers. They were running and they were like, fuck it. And they jumped off a cliff or whatever. What the fuck happened to their body? Why is it always just one foot?
I would imagine sea creatures are eating the rest of them.
Sea creatures.
And it can't get to the shoe?
It just doesn't
It
care.
can't get to the foot through the shoe?
It's like, I don't care about those leather nasty tasting things. I'm just chomping on the goodie bits.
That's true.
So my question is,
It's
what's snatching bodies in British Columbia?
And why are they all wearing running shoes?
Why do they go after the runners?
If you live near the Salish Sea in British Columbia, don't go running near the shore.
Do not run.
There is something out there.
There is a running warning for the Salish Sea in British Columbia.
At this point, that's a pretty shocking statistic, though. And what becomes the 13th detached foot found in the area since 2007. That's a lot of feet washing up.
That's a trend.
That's a trend, is what that is.
That's more than one a year.
I'm gonna say
we are now mathematicians.
Oh, I just did the math. It checks out.
Like honest answer is probably like, I don't know, sharks. I want it to be a kraken. I want it to be the results of a kraken. Just snatching people off the fucking runway that goes right next to the shore, eating them in, spitting out the shoes. That's what I think is probably happening.
It's like a Loch Ness Monster situation up there in British Columbia on the Salish Sea.
Clash of the Titans. Watch Clash of the Titans for some good kraken action.
Nice.
Okay, Matt, tell me this information you found about there's some celebrity that supposedly has information that's gonna.
Wait, what is this? This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Basically,
me too.
I think it was on Newsweek. I don't know what it was.
I read about it today, actually, and I don't think it was on Newsweek. It's a story, man.
It was basically Dennis Rodman has the inside scoop and needs to speak with Donald Trump about national security.
Wait,
I wish I could have prepared a little bit better for this, but
that's pretty much the whole story.
Yeah, basically it's a bad fucking movie from the 90s. It's like Donald Trump is the president, and a retired NBA star needs to speak with Donald Trump about matters of national security.
Now let's keep in mind that Dennis Rodman has been a guest to Kim Jong-un for several years now.
I like how you enunciated his name.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
There's,
nice.
But I mean, it's like for some reason, him and Rodman is tight. And it's like, if you ever saw the nobody saw it or liked it, I liked it. The interview with Seth Rogen and James Franco. And it's like they talk about that. They bring it up, but it's like that's what that movie's based on. Is you've got this guy who played basketball in the 90s, for a long time. Is a good basketball player, probably more well known for being weird.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman.
That's just been hanging out over in North Korea, just chatting up the guy that wants to blow up America.
Yeah, and now those guys got to talk to the other guy trying to blow up America.
It's just like, that's the thing, is like, what's he got? What has he got?
What has who got?
What has Rodman
got? Oh, what secret classified information does Dennis Rodman have?
And has he just been playing the long con the whole time?
He's been a spy?
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman, the spy? Didn't he do a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme where they were U.S.
Double team,
spies?
baby. Double team.
Double team.
Well, it's like, Who would have thought? Who would have thought back, you'd tell me this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like somebody just sat around in a room and did a whole bunch of cocaine and decided that they were going to write the worst movie.
Right, history.
And turns out that's just reality now. It's Dennis Rodman has got the inside scoop on fucking nuclear war, and he's got to talk to Donald Trump, the president.
All right.
That really is like an awesome movie from the 90s that I would fucking watch. Like, oh, man.
Let me set the scene for you. You're in a dark lit room. There's incense that smells real funky that's burning. And Gary Busey's sitting across from you. And he looks you deep in the eyes and he goes, 10 years from now, we're going to have superstar celebrity Dennis Rodman bring detailed information that will save the world to our president, Donald Trump. People have thought you were fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
That
happening,
is
baby.
100% true.
That's what's
Yeah,
happening.
reality is kind of fucked right now.
Matt, for you, what are some interesting things that you found on the internet?
Interesting things. I have a couple things. Two of them are just kind of announcements. First one, I want to talk about Elon Musk.
Oh, he's a supervillain.
Supervillain
Yeah,
Elon
yeah.
Musk. He wants to shoot his badass red sports car into an orbit around Mars forever until somebody finds it. Like a grand prize in an egg-shaped rocket thing, wants to shoot it into space and just float it around Mars because he can do it. And
Because he can.
It's like whoever finds it and gets it, they got this awesome sports
Man,
car
can you
from
imagine?
2017.
Can you imagine what that guy's day-to-day is?
No, because he's Lex Luthor. Lex
Yeah, no
Luthor.
shit. Like this guy, ever since I read a thing the other day that was about like he built the largest self-sustaining battery on the face of the earth and was like, I'm going to do it in 6 months, and if not, it's free. And
Yeah.
guess he did it in like 5.
Can I take a quick word from our sponsor?
Oh, thank you, Hutton and Smith.
Delicious.
Make delicious beers.
Dude, we totally...
Absolutely.
I was ready on
Oh, no,
that.
I
And
saw it.
We fucking did that shit in
'Cause
stereo,
I wanted it too.
man.
I saw the
That
sync.
was
Yeah.
great.
It was good.
That was
All right.
awesome.
Elon Musk wants to shoot a thing around. That's not really...
Well, that's the thing about Elon Musk is this guy is constantly coming up with stuff that it's just like, I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, he's just going to do it. Because the other outcome, which was hilarious in the article, and this was just on Google. I just literally Googled science and was just looking through stuff. If it works, he's got the fucking thing. If it doesn't work, it totally explodes. He's like, it's either I'm gonna shoot it and it's gonna explode my sports car, or it's totally gonna work.
It's gonna explode.
Yeah.
I'll
Those
only
are
have
his two
14
options.
after that.
But he's Elon Musk and he can just do
hopefully-
that.
I mean, but hopefully Elon Musk's car, like whenever they're shooting it up in the rocket, it's one of those like horrible NASA videos where the rocket goes halfway up and then turns sideways and shoots straight back down. and then completely doesn't hurt
Just
anybody.
explodes.
Nothing
Just
happens.
explodes everywhere.
Nobody gets hurt. But Elon Musk's fucking red car that he's shooting into space for no goddamn reason at all explodes and burns, and
Yeah.
and we film it. That's what I want. Fuck that.
It's just a shot of him like,
Wah, wah.
oh, well. What's the point of him doing that?
There is none.
Is he hoping aliens find it?
I don't know. Nobody really
He's
knows.
gonna- no, you should write a message on it in black
Well, apparently
Sharpie that says "fuck you, everybody," and
Okay.
shoot
I'm Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
A big picture of his dick in the glove compartment. Oh man.
Because what does that solve? What does that do? I'm gonna shoot
What's
my
the
red
point?
car
Yeah.
into
Well,
space. It's
Okay. To
like-
be fair, I will say in the article they said that NASA in the past has done like inaugural test launches and just shot random shit into space like cheese and like just random things. So this is like his version of what he's doing.
but that's like so.
Taxpayers at work right there.
So
That's your tax dollars.
Put random shit in a rocket and shoot
And
it
shoot
into
it
space.
up into space and see if it works. Yeah. But if he can get it going, then, who knows? The future, right?
I'm pretty sure the main thing we should take away from that story, though, is that Elon Musk Seems like a super cool, very intelligent dude who is probably hell-bent on ruling the world in some way, shape, or form.
He just doesn't know it yet. He's a super.
I think he does know it. I think he's just fooling us all.
I think he's still on the side of good right now, but he's like just on the razor's edge, man.
He's already got you. Bud.
Razor's edge.
He's already got you.
Yeah.
You got anything else for us?
Yeah, I got a. It's an announcement, really. Apparently, there was the shit, man. I can't remember the name of the telescope now. It's
Hubble?
No, it's the other one. It's the Kepler, maybe.
Kepler. Yeah.
It's
yes.
Yeah, the Kepler.
The Kepler.
NASA has received some information from the Kepler that they're making a press conference on Thursday, December 14th at 1 p.m., but it's like sudden. It like just happened today. They were like, guys, we're doing a thing. We're going live.
Oh, wow.
Huh. But this is...
That's some breaking shit, man, for you.
Exactly. The reason they're sending it up, they sent the Kepler up, it's been in space forever.
That is some hot science.
It's been in space for a while. It's the hottest science I could find. It's supposed to be finding other life or like habitable planets.
Sure.
That's its whole mission. So they've found some information that they got a break on the world Thursday, December 14th at 1 p.m. NASA's just streaming it live. I don't know how. I'm assuming the internet. Because NASA doesn't have a TV station to my knowledge. But
well, I'm going to need you to follow up on that.
I was going to say, we're gonna watch it, and we're going to bring it to you next podcast. We'll fucking talk about it.
Right
I just want to make an announcement that we're going to talk about it next podcast.
Right on. That's pretty exciting,
See
man.
what it is. Exciting news, because I think it could be life.
Or at least like strong potential for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, they've been doing research recently. It's like on some exoplanet they found way far deep in the galaxy, and they're like, if we ever found another place where life could exist, it's probably this one. But it's so far off that it's like we can't really make any definite statements about it. But I think the probability that I would like to see in my lifetime that we at least find some evidence that there is existence of life on another planet that's not Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of what kind of life it is. I don't even care if it's intelligent.
Care exactly. Just the idea of existence on another planet cracks the world wide open, and it's great. And I love it, and I want it to happen in our
That's
lifetime.
pretty exciting. So next podcast, we're going to follow up to that.
Podcast.
We're going to tell you all the exciting shit that you found on that podcast, unless it's not that exciting. And then we're still going to tell it.
Right, yeah, obviously.
Just nobody's going to be thrilled about it.
We got to say it.
Hey, guys. Here's a fast fact. The harmonica is the world's best-selling instrument.
Nice.
Do you guys own a harmonica?
I do, actually.
As do I.
Too.
There you go. All three of us own harmonicas. Okay, so this next segment that we're going to go to is time for our special guest, Randy the Conspiracist, talking about the truth.
Randy's coming?
No, Randy's not coming.
Oh.
Randy is not coming tonight. He was, I got a phone call from him earlier. I think it was Randy. He's got like 6 different code names, so it's hard to tell. But Randy was going to talk. Last week we talked about the conspiracy as if we ever did the moon landing.
Yeah. Right.
Randy has some cred. This guy claims that he has worked for several different shadow organizations within the U.S. government. And his name's not Randy. He makes that very clear. Mm-hmm. He signs his checks Randy Cloak and Dagger. But he's got some stuff to tell us. Randy was detained. We'll say he was detained for unmentionable circumstance.
Yeah. In that he did not mention them. He just said he would not be here. And
which basically he just called me and said, I'm not coming, and then hung up.
And hung up. That's why I have to assume it's Randy, because he never says who it is. No. He just says words, and then you have to piece them together to your life.
In my phone, it's just like, it's just Randy ?
Yeah.
So...
Because it's always a different number.
But stay tuned, guys, because Randy, the conspiracist, will lay truth bare upon your soul.
That's fucking epic, dude.
Yeah, stay tuned. Oh, man. Are you guys having fun?
Yeah.
Having a great
feel
time.
like a good podcast?
Yeah, this is good. I'm having
you
a
know,
good time
it's only possible because of our sponsor, Hutton & Smith.
Mm-hmm.
All beer consumed during the taping of this podcast was provided by Hutton & Smith Brewing Company. At Hutton & Smith, we take pride in attention to detail and let our love for beer be our guide. Born from simple ingredients, our beers reflect who we are, what we like, and why we do what we do. Join us in the tap house for a pint, a flight, or take home a growler. While you're at work thinking about beer, we're making it. We'll see you at 5.
Man, that's some good beer.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys,
Currently
fast fact.
drinking
Fast fact. Woo! The average person speaks around 16,000 words per day. Super chatty people, 50,000. Big difference.
Whoa.
Regardless, 80% of that, self-talk.
Self-talk?
What is self-talk?
Yeah, what is self-talk?
Exactly what it sounds like.
Like talking out loud to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Just making words.
Which I read that statistic on several different websites because I read that and I was like, nah.
80% of your daily speech
And I've
is
seen
to
that.
yourself?
I read that on multiple different
that
sources.
Can't be right.
And it's like, I don't ever talk to in my head, sure, but I don't ever talk to myself out loud.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever do that.
Unless
I'm drunk.
Well, I do, but not really. It's like I would say 20% of my day maybe, and the other 80% is out loud.
Yeah.
Like to people.
But that's the typical person says it's 80% of your, because I saw different statistics on how many words people speak, but every single one said
crazy.
80% was self-talk.
Wow.
Bunch of egotistical motherfuckers out there.
Right?
Yeah, which people
It's
just
like,
talking
no,
themselves.
I'm just going through my inner monologue, but
Out loud.
acting it out. And
Yeah.
as long as nobody's around, I'm not crazy.
That's true.
But if people see you do it, then you're just a maniac.
You know who doesn't do that?
Who?
Probably the people that are smart enough to listen to this podcast.
Oh,
Truth.
God, those sexy people.
You're probably just like us. Just everybody else says you're weird and you're out of place, but it's like, it's because you're special and you think about things that most people don't care about.
Yeah.
You're interested in how the world works and what makes people tick.
Yeah.
You're a fascinating, wonderful individual that doesn't get enough appreciation. Hey, did you look in the mirror this morning? Looking good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hutton and Smith, the most delicious beer in Chattanooga.
I'm going to say some of the most delicious beer.
Period, man. I
Nationwide.
really
Hey, I
am
will
enjoying
say,
it. Like,
these
honestly,
guys make some high content beer.
I'm going to go ahead and say...
And it does not taste like that. I drink some 7
got
point
really,
whatever
really,
you mean
drunk.
high alcohol?
high
beer.
alcohol content.
Those
IBV.
ones, yeah. That
Because
one,
it's like I can drink a lot of high alcohol content beer and be like, that's pretty good for having 7.8 alcohol in it.
yeah.
And Hutton and Smith, man, these guys make it smooth. Like, this is some good stuff. They're our sponsors. I love them. I think they're great. I'm not just saying that.
I'm not just saying that. Well, I was going to say, I kind of want to talk about them a little bit, honestly, because I have, over the last week, tried at least 5 different flavors, kinds of beer that they make.
Flavors, yeah, you're right.
Flavors of beer, and they're all good. Every single one of them. I had a really super
Hutton
dark...
Smith is
Have you
killing it,
tried
man.
the porter? The Portland
the
porter?
Matt's
Porter's
tried
fantastic.
all of them.
Dude,
Well, not all of them.
so
Not
good.
yet.
No, not yet.
And the fact that it's from our hometown, that it's local,
Chattanooga,
it's a
Tennessee,
thing,
baby.
like that's so cool. And it
Yeah,
just,
man.
I don't know, it's good. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad that they're our sponsor.
Yeah, thanks,
And I'm
guys.
excited
Cheers
about it.
to Hutton and
Cheers.
Cheers to Hutton and Smith. Cheer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's time for movie talk.
Movie
Man,
talk.
yes,
Movie talk.
that's right. It's
Movie
time for
talk
movie talk. Now, guys, we're in the month.
That's my projector
That was
noise.
nice. That
Was
was
it good?
That was you doing that? I thought Matt had set up a projector in the lab. I didn't know what was going on there for a minute.
Nice. We got it.
We're in the month of December. Ho, ho, ho. Got a machine gun.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about some Christmas movies, but
Right.
like, that's what everybody's doing.
Well, we
right now.
ranked them last week. We
Yeah, we
ranked them
already
up.
did
Right,
our
right.
Christmas movies, but I want to talk about Christmas adjacent movies. Movies that happen during Christmas that aren't about Christmas.
Yes.
And without your guys' deliberation, I decided that my favorite movie that we're going to talk about this week is Batman Returns,
Batman Returns.
because that is a Christmassy
Oh,
movie.
Yeah, dude. It's a Danny Elfman movie. Almost all Danny Elfman movies are
Yeah, very
Christmassy.
snowy and like
Yeah.
kind of weird, somber stuff.
Mhm.
Matt Forgy,
Mm-hmm.
what's Batman Returns about?
Batman Returns? Oh, man, it's been a minute.
Who's in that? Who's in it?
Well, you got classic Keaton Batman. We're talking golden age Keaton Batman.
Golden
This is the
One of
second one.
Like, second one, so he's aged into the role. Like,
Hmm.
he is fully Batman in this movie. He does some amazingly cool Batman things in this movie.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite Batman films.
Well, because the first one's great, but the second one is so good. Because also, you got Michelle Pfeiffer playing one of the sexiest Catwomen to ever grace the screen.
Meow.
Those stitches, man.
Exactly.
Got that whip.
Yeah. And then you got Danny DeVito
Disgusting.
playing the most disgusting penguin ever possible on film, and it's perfect for the character of the Penguin. And I honestly don't know if I remember fully the plot details. I just know that like the Penguin shows up and is going to be mayor of Gotham.
Okay, well, it starts out.
Oh,
You got
man,
your
Pee Wee
somber,
Herman.
you got
Pee
your
Wee
somber
Herman's in this
opening.
movie.
And
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman dropping a bassinet into the river of Gotham.
Pee Wee
Getting
Herman
rid of it.
and that lady from Pee Wee, man. The
Miss Yvonne.
yeah.
Getting rid of that baby because it's ugly as hell.
And it's got the weird flipper hand.
Got the weird.
It shows
flipper
the
hands.
little,
You
like,
see it? It's gross.
flipper
The
paw.
babies are like, what
This
the
thing
fuck
is going to
going
grow up
on?
to be Danny DeVito. Out of here.
I don't want this.
Get this
I
out of
want
here.
this thing.
No.
Oh my God.
So then we flash forward to the future where Batman, a.k.a. Bruce Wayne, a.k.a. Michael Keaton, got to show up to a Christmas parade because there's crazy circus clowns with skull masks on motorcycles and devils breathing fire. And they're trying to...
And monkeys with machine guns.
Monkeys with machine guns.
With the guy with the monkey that also has the machine gun.
And we're not talking Planet of the Apes. We're talking about, like, this is some...
This guy has a little, like, monkey on his shoulder.
Yeah.
While he's blasting a machine gun
That ain't right.
out of a grinder thing. You know those things.
People freaking out.
Yeah.
Selena Kyle's there.
Yeah.
She gets...
Also,
I
will
love
say...
this recap. If
This
no
is
one, if no one
if
has
you
ever
haven't seen, if you've not seen Batman Returns, this is
Yeah,
a
this is our
terrible
commentary.
representation of
no,
Batman.
it's
talking
Returns.
honestly
about?
great.
This
It's
is our comment. You
fantastic.
could put this over the movie.
Yeah,
and you'd-
honestly, just hit play. I'll walk you through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Selena Kyle's there.
Selena Kyle's definitely there. Also, I want to shout out, this has some super good walking in it. Some Christopher Walken playing Max Shrek.
Selena Kyle's boss.
Yeah, Selena Kyle's boss.
Which I did
Max
want to bring
Shrek.
up. Okay. Short synopsis. Selena Kyle gets saved by Batman. She goes back to her work. She works for Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken...
Whole movie's set in Christmas also. Remember, because that's why we're talking about it. It's
Oh,
Christmas
yeah,
time.
we're getting there.
Whole thing's in Christmas.
Yeah, it's all snowy. There's wreaths and holly.
So much holly.
All
Christmas
nimbly
trees. There's
bimbly.
Christmas trees everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everyone is merry and gay.
Yeah, except for Chris Walken, a.k.a. Max Shrek, who pushes Michelle Pfeiffer, a.k.a. Selena Kyle, a.k.a. Catwoman, who's not yet Catwoman, out of the window.
Yep.
Because he's like, you don't need to
Let's
talk
about the licking of the cats.
Okay, that's where I was getting.
Yes.
So
Okay.
in this movie, Matt, how
Okay.
does she become Catwoman? Tell me the origin of Catwoman in this film.
She's like super awkward, nerdy secretary, Selena Kyle. Not like the cunning, badass, like thief of comic book lore. And then she ends up finding like some shady stuff going on with Shrek Industries, the biggest like cat food producer, whatever they do, something ridiculous. And then Max Shrek catches her, Christopher Walken, a.k.a. Christopher Walken. And he totally pushes out the window, but do you know the line? Do you know the Walken line that he says? Because it's like, boom, and then he pushes her out the window.
I just
and
remember it
kills
being
her.
like, hey, we're doing things with cat food. I don't need to hear about how it's illegal. I'm going to say something nice and then push you out the window. Boom.
Yeah, I think it's boo.
You're dead, baby. Yeah, I think he says boo.
Okay, yeah. Pushes
Shoves
her out the window.
She falls
down.
like
She's
like 16 stories.
appeared to be dead. He doesn't
didn't-
check or like move the body or anything. He's just like,
He's Max Shrek. He doesn't have time
they'll
for
think
that.
she committed suicide or whatever. And then,
Cue the cats.
yeah, just out of nowhere,
Alley cats, baby.
alley cats just start coming up and just licking all over her until they wake her up, and then she's like Catwoman from then on out.
And then she can do
Just like-
badass
Yeah.
things.
From then
can
on,
use a whip.
she learned
and
how to
does
use a whip.
acrobats, can do all kinds of crazy gymnastics and all these insane things.
And turns out was quite the seamstress.
oh,
Making
expert
her a
seamstress.
super sexy vinyl stitched together Michelle
Yeah.
Pfeiffer. Girl, I don't care when you're 80 years old, you can watch Batman Returns and be like, I look damn good.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
look damn good in that movie.
Michelle Pfeiffer still look good.
Penguin comes back. He's Danny DeVito now. He's puking up black shit.
Oh my god. The Penguin in this movie is so awesome.
And he's constantly wearing, like, he's either wearing like a dingy long trench coat with a furry collar, or he's just wearing like gross ass fucking underwear.
Like, he does a really good job at making you not like the character.
Repulsive.
Oh, he's
it's
repulsive.
Just fucking gross.
Well, you know,
like it's just it's a gross character.
I don't know if they still do it, but like Trick Gum that would like inky like get all
the
over
black
your teeth,
shit that's
black
just
stuff.
pulling out of his
the
mouth
whole
all the
movie.
time.
Every time he talks, it's
Playhouse.
like more black stuff just starts showing out up in his mouth, and it's disgusting.
He's so good in that movie, though.
Oh man, he's so
He's
great.
so good. It is not my version of the
I
Penguin at
love
all.
Danny DeVito also, just because of Always Sunny and
Hey,
like
shout
just
out
all
to
those
Danny
things.
DeVito. If you happen to listen
Yeah.
to this and you want to come on Hot Science, hit me up, dude.
Oh, man.
Hot Science
Oh, yeah. I
Podcast
would hang
31
out.
at gmail.com.
Yeah, I would hang out with Danny DeVito every day
You
of
can
the
drink.
week.
You can drink as many of our free beers as you want, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, exactly. Get yourself some Hutton Smith, Danny
Yes,
DeVito.
sir.
Okay.
We eventually come to a point to where the Penguin and Catwoman have teamed up and said, we're going to take down this Batman character.
This guy's bad news.
But you know how we're going to do it? We're going to frame him. And
Yeah.
so they're having the Gotham Christmas celebration. You got a giant tree.
One of the most prestigious Gotham Christmas celebrations.
You got the Christmas Queen up there. She's a siren getting ready to sing, wearing her skimpy little...
in front of the giant tree.
yeah.
Very like Rockefeller situation.
But she gets kidnapped.
Oh shit.
She gets taken to a roof.
Yeah, but guess who? Penguin.
She gets shoved off that roof. And she gets saved, but everybody sees her fall, and then they see a shit ton of bats fly out of that Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
Who did that? Is it Batman?
It's Batman. Batman gets framed. Oh man, there's some really great it's almost like 90s Batman stuff. But like all the stuff that he uses gadgets a lot in this movie, and he also like his car can break apart and do all that crazy stuff, and the Penguin like remote controls his car and does all that crazy stuff. And Penguin literally has an umbrella that he can fly with in this movie.
That's right. Helicopter umbrella.
He has a helicopter umbrella, and it's awesome, and it works. It's Tim Burton movie in its prime.
I want to stop it right there because go watch it.
Yeah, watch Batman Returns.
It's available on any streaming service except maybe Netflix, because that's another subject for another podcast right there. But man,
Watch it on B movies. Just fucking watch it.
If you haven't watched Batman 1, you don't need to watch it to love and enjoy Batman
well,
Returns.
'tis the season though. If you're just looking for Christmas adjacent movies,
Are there any other Christmas adjacent movies you want to talk about?
well, of course,
just shout outs.
I want to give a shout out to Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Truth. Gremlins.
Gremlins, which we
Gremlins
covered.
always.
Die Hard, obviously,
yeah,
that we
Die
covered in the
Hard.
last one. I don't really have a lot of like Christmas-based movies that I like.
Yeah.
Guys, it's time for playing video games.
We're talking about video games.
It's time to talk about video games. We're playing video games.
Doing a controller.
As a wee lad, I was all about my Nintendo Entertainment System.
As was I. As was all of us.
Yeah. As was we all.
As was we all. Yeah, exactly.
And I was so excited when I got one. My grandmother was like, "What does Brad want for Christmas?" And I'm like, "Nintendo game!"
Because Brad sounded like a barely functioning person when he was a small kid.
I mean, I was. And so I get what seems like it should be the best game ever. I got a Nintendo, and guess what? I got the Ghostbusters game.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Dude, when
Like
it's
1983 or like no, not 1983.
it was like late 80s.
Late 80s. Like
yeah, you turn it
87.
on, and it's like the
it
first
was
thing that
probably
pops
88.
up is you got the Ghostbuster symbol, and it's like you press start. You hit press start, and it goes,
Which was mind blowing.
which blew my fucking 8-year-old mind. And then the game consists of like the shittiest, most basic graphics. It's like I used to play Atari with my dad, and I thought that was cool. But then I played like Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
What?
Original.
Yeah, I rented some games, and it's like Contra. What? And then you get Ghostbusters, and it's like, this looks like a shit version of an Atari game. And the basic idea is like, hey, 8-year-old kid, guess what? You got to start a business, and you're going to roam around the city and catch ghosts. But you have to budget how much gas you have in your Ecto-1. And dude, this game,
accounting game.
Basically, it was like you had to go and you had to find ghosts that were inhabiting these buildings. You drive to the building, which is basically just trying to not hit other cars and pick up gas along the way. And then when you get there, it's like the most awkward, shitty way to try and catch a ghost possible. And it's like, good job catching that ghost. Good thing you didn't cross the streams, because that's an instant life lost.
Oh, shit.
Can't cross the streams. So as an 8-year-old with shitty controls, not understanding what's going on.
You constantly cross the street.
Yeah, I played this game for like weeks on end, being like, it's going to get fun at some point. This is going to be a good game at some point.
So the moral
Never
of the
happened.
story.
The moral of the story is NES Ghostbusters. I give that score a 3 out of 10. Do not play Ghostbusters on the Nintendo. If you disagree with me, you can put it in the comments and then have a long list of replies of people telling you you're full of shit.
Because it's a terrible game.
It sucks. There's different versions on other consoles that it's like, oh, you get this on the Sega Genesis. It's a much better version that still sucks ass. It's like just don't play it.
All right, Forgy, you have to have a regrettable video game experience.
Sort of, kind of. I've never had a bad video game. Like,
This blows my mind.
well, like I've had bad video games, but it wasn't. It was given to me. But it was a whole system with games, and it was the 3DO.
3DO.
I was gifted a 3DO. Here's the bummer. I had a Super Nintendo, and I played the crap out of it. I had like all the Super Nintendo games. I was really into video games as a child, and my brother was too. And he broke my Super Nintendo with his friend.
Son of a bitch.
He took it to a friend's house, and he busted it. Whatever they were doing, they busted it. So in return,
Somebody got pissed off and kicked the shit out of it.
Well, his friend was like, hey man, I busted your system, but you can have this 3DO system and like 15 games.
Which
So
seems like at the time, that seems like an upgrade.
Well, and at the time, that was like one of the first 3D
Yeah,
systems.
sure.
It was like having like one of those.
We did
was
play
it
the
a-
shit out of Cool Borders,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh, Cool Borders.
Cool Borders, yeah.
which
Shout out.
is
Well,
not a
'cause,
bad game.
Shout out to Cool
Borders
Borders,
is
bro.
awesome.
Yeah.
3DOs were one of the first like CD system
Maybe the
games.
first, yeah.
Like one, well, it was like that in like the Jaguar or whatever.
Nobody had that. Nobody had a 3DO. Less people had a Jaguar.
Yeah, exactly. So I got this 3DO, and there were like 2 good games. One was Road Rash, which is a
Road
version
Rash,
of Road
fuck
Rash.
yeah.
A version of Road Rash I've never played on anything but the 3DO that had all these like claymation faces and all this
it's
crazy
bitchin'.
shit.
That game was bitchin'.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then like all the other games for it were just absolute shit. Like I'm trying so hard to think of the games.
Well, I know you had the Horde.
The Horde was actually kind of fun,
The
but it was a
Horde was-
trial. It was a trial of the Horde.
Oh, it wasn't the full game.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes of the Horde, and then it would be like, you should get this game.
But what a 15
What,
minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah, sure. What was that weird board game you had?
It was like a.
Or
It was basically
like a game show, right?
It was like the You Don't Know Jack series.
Yeah.
It was basically that before that had happened,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just this really weird. Because the 3DO was like, we do 3D graphics, so basically. It was a game show that was hosted by a real person that looked like a real person talking to you. But it was always just animations of the real person, so it was very stiff, and it would just loop and do stuff. It was terrible. And it was boring as shit. You just like roll the dice, and you're like, you're at level 1. You get this thing. It was terrible. It asked you questions. I really can't think of a lot of the games because they were so bad. I had that system. I probably played it for like 3 months, and then I realized if you put a CD in it, it would make a visualizer. And this is before iTunes or anything that had like where you could have like, weird like basically a screensaver, an old screensaver playing while you listen to music. So the 3DO became just how I listen to CDs in my room.
Matt Livingston,
Yes, sir.
you're not as much of a gamer as me and Matt Forey are.
No,
But you've played some shitty games.
I have played some shitty games.
What's the shittiest game that you can recall?
Well, a shitty game that I instantly recall is Army Men?
Army Men.
Army Men, man.
Is that a
It
N64?
was an N64,
yeah.
yeah. I got that as a Christmas gift from some fucking asshole. and it was a horrible game.
Some relative of mine,
Some
dickhead relative.
of mine, yeah.
Now, if I recall,
I'm at a pawn shop. I'm going to purchase this N64 cartridge for my nephew that I hate. Whatever.
Now, if I recall, the premise of that game is it's like you're little green army men, but like in real war.
Well, to be honest, I don't recall any premise of the game because
No,
it was
I
a piece of
actually,
shit.
well, I actually remember the premise weirdly because of my memory, but like I remember playing it at your house because it was like you're an army man, but you're in like life-sized places, like
Right.
the kitchen sink.
Oh, like you're
and
super
like stuff
tiny.
like that. But it's basically Halo. It's the Halo engine where it's like you've got two sides of army men, bad guys and good guys, and it's a first-person shooter where you're like running across a kitchen sink, but having to jump on forks and stuff because you're a little green army dude
Yeah.
fighting dudes. It was like GoldenEye. That's what it was. GoldenEye. It
This
was the
come out-
GoldenEye.
But it was one of those
idea.
things like where
'Cause
you
it was 64.
where you couldn't get past the first level or something. It was
It
from what I recall,
it was
I don't know.
insanely stupid because I remember playing it at your house and like we like played it for like 10 minutes and we're like, let's do something else.
dumb.
Yeah, let's put something else in here. Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mario Kart does not belong in this
GoldenEye,
conversation.
yeah,
GoldenEye or
GoldenEye,
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart?
Come
Yeah.
on, you're playing an N64.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
better
And
things
you're
to
not
do
playing
than Army
GoldenEye
Men.
or Mario Kart. Come on.
I will say, in my experience of Army Men, I'm going to say the controls were bad, the graphics were bad, and it's green guys versus tan guys, so it's a little racist.
Mhm. It's very racist.
Just shoot all the tan guys.
Yeah.
I also remember them being very buxom lady army men. Like sometimes there were army women
Army women.
that they would show, but it's like I'm the nurse and I have gigantic breasts, which they didn't make
I was
those.
gonna say this might have been in the era of gigantic breast in video games, which isn't really over.
No, that
It's
was
pretty much just
no,
an
that was the
industry
90s.
standard.
That was the
now.
decades of the 90s where it's like have the biggest, fakest boobs
Yeah,
you could
the
possibly have
giantest
on everything.
breast.
Are they gleaming? Oh man, so hot
I can't wait to play this video game. That never made sense to me.
for the
giant
boobs.
breasts. Yeah, big boobs in a video game never made sense to me.
Guys-
I can't jerk off and play a video game at the same time. I need both hands for the controller.
That's what Rule 34 is for. Fast Fat Guys, the world's smallest dog, is in fact the Chihuahua.
Chihuahua?
The Chihuahua.
The Chihuahua.
The Chihuahua is the world's smallest dog.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Chihuahua.
which literally means small dog in the sky.
In the sky. Chihuahua means small dog in the sky.
There's like a Mexican state named Small Dog in the Sky. Explain that one to me. Hey, if you're out there, you're in Mexico right now, enlighten me.
Yeah.
Comment on the video. Send me an email, hotsciencepodcast31@gmail.com.
Neil Young, you want to write a song about it? Small Dog in the Sky? Go
That
for it.
that sounds like that would be a killer Neil Young song.
Absolutely.
Small dog
I would listen to
in
it.
the sky. Yeah. yeah.
If Neil Young has another fever dream, writes a song about a Chihuahua, man,
Yeah.
gold
I'm
record.
for it. That's a gold record waiting to happen.
You know,
record.
he's not as crotchety as he used to be. I don't know how I feel about that.
You like crotchety,
Yeah, I like kind of like bitter, angry Neil Young.
bitter, angry Neil Young. I kind of do too, honestly.
Okay, guys, now it's time for one of our reoccurring segments that hasn't been a segment that I have decided to make a segment called Rate That Animal.
Pew!
Rate that animal.
Rate that animal.
What
On a
animal are we
scale.
rating this evening?
Well, if you visited the Hot Science podcast, either on any social media site, you've seen that our mascot is a giraffe.
Mm-hmm.
So I pose this question to you, sir. And you, sir.
Us,
What
sirs?
do you rate a giraffe?
Giraffe rating.
Please show your work.
Okay, a letter grade for a giraffe for me. I'm probably going to go like a solid B, maybe a B+. I don't know, probably just a B. Because I like the giraffe, but they really don't. I mean, like, you know, it's a giraffe. They're just interestingly hilarious to me at all times. I've never seen a giraffe that I wasn't just like, that's hilarious.
Giraffe gets an A in my book.
A?
A.
Show your
Explain
work.
it. Yep.
Giraffes are badass. They're huge. They eat leaves. They don't do anything. They are the path of least resistance. They do nothing.
Giraffes are the Buddha of the animal world.
Exactly. They have what eats a giraffe. What goes after a giraffe? That says that
I guess,
thing,
like, I don't know,
that thing
lions
is going to
and
be
shit.
my shit. It doesn't happen.
Our mascot, the giraffe. Are they super cool? Or are they strange mutations that make no sense?
B.
These creatures eat over 75 pounds of vegetation per day.
75 pounds of foliage.
They're eating a shit ton of leaves with them black tongues.
They do have
They're
black
purple.
tongues, man.
Are
They're
they
super
black?
cool.
They're
They're like,
black
I think they're
tongues.
like super purple.
Yeah, they're like really dark. If you watch that episode of Salute Your Shorts where Sponge answers the question on what color a giraffe's tongue is, he says black and he wins the prize, and he also says the word piss in that episode, which watching on Nickelodeon, I was surprised to hear him say.
He also says the word
Nickelodeon.
yes.
Facts.
Speaking of which, giraffes also drink urine.
They drink urine?
That's
Just
how-
their own urine?
That's kind of like how dogs sniff.
They're best friends.
Can a giraffe drink its own urine, though? Because with the long
Well,
neck
sure,
and
it
the whole
can, yeah.
nine?
Because
Can
they
it?
use it as like, that's how they mark their territory, but instead of like reaching down and sniffing it, they just see like, oh, here's some piss. Jerry's been here.
Okay. It's a calling card, basically.
And to answer your question, no, they are not prey for hardly anything, because it's like if they have to lean over real weird to drink, like their legs are spread way
Right.
the fuck out, and then they have to crane their heads down, and if they fall over, they're fucked. It's like you can have something run up on you real quick and just chew the shit out of you. But if it's like there's a giraffe and it sees a lion coming from it, they have 12-inch hooves. Their legs are so long and so powerful to keep the rest of them up that they can decapitate a lion.
What?
Oh yeah, dude.
They can just straight
They
up
can
kick
just
a lion's head off.
All right, that's a solid A for me then.
That is
I'm
an A.
boosting that.
I'm glad I went with an A.
Yeah. I'm glad they're our mascot.
I went
'Cause that
with
just gotta happen.
when I was trying to research this and be like, we rate animals high. I'm trying to find like crap animals that we're not going to give a high rating to. I started doing the research and it's like, okay, they're not a part of the food chain. Really? You know, they eat
Yeah,
a bunch of
They eat
leaves.
the leaves.
That nobody really understands what part of the world they drink piss. You know, I mean, and then you get to the part where it's like they can kick a lion's head off.
They can decapitate a lion one kick.
You should have started with that.
That's a Chuck Norris move
No
right
shit,
there.
that's your opener right there. Giraffes, A, they can kick a lion's head off. B, they got long necks.
So, what we're really trying to say is giraffe
Giraffes
gets an A.
kick ass, man.
And my
Giraffes are
quest to
kick-ass.
try and find shitty animals to rate, I have lost this
We failed.
battle.
Turns out we like most animals.
Giraffes as our mascot and as animals that can straight up kick a lion's head off. A.
A plus.
Oh,
Man, you can
man.
hear the helicopter.
Again.
If you know of any animals that you hate, please leave them in the comments, because clearly we need animals to hate on. If there's a
yeah.
certain animal that you think just is an F sharp,
Please.
send it to us.
Please. Well, because we talked about centipedes
We'll talk
last
about
week.
it.
We talked about, what did we end up giving centipedes?
Oh, they were like a D or something. I don't know. Maybe you guys boosted them up.
I
'cause-
shafted it. No, I shafted it with a D. I'm like, centipedes suck.
Yeah, they were.
I
They
gave
were
it a
an
B
F
for
for
Bear
me.
Grylls.
Yeah, you
because they
gave it a
would eat
B for Bear Grylls, and
Because
it
they
bumped
eat it.
it up to like at least a C.
Yeah, I think they landed
And
at a
really,
C.
in retrospect and thinking about that, Bear Grylls would need a centipede because they're poisonous.
Yeah,
They're poisonous
fuck.
as shit. They suck, man. They're creepy as hell. They get huge, and it's like,
don't know
yeah,
what I was
things
thinking.
eat them, but it's like, god damn, I don't want to.
I think
I don't want to be in a room with a
yeah.
centipede. You know,
I think I gave him an incomplete because I just hated him so much.
they're going in the same category as earthworms, incomplete.
I'll give an earthworm earthworm gets a solid like.
No, we're not rating earthworms. Marsworms are a
rated
totally different thing.
Marsworms.
Okay, that's true.
Earthworms-
Earthworms are a different subject.
Earthworms
yeah, incomplete.
are earthbound.
Hey guys, let's do a little shameless self promotion right here.
All right.
Let's do it
Yeah, what do we want to promote right now?
ourselves.
Well, what I want to talk about is the B-Rad versus the devil.
Well, we got a bunch of
Not
irons in
the
the fire.
devil, but it's black magic.
We got a bunch of irons
Oh,
in the
yeah,
fire.
doing a lot
We
of
we
stuff.
teased this. We teased this already, and it hasn't come to fruition yet because of circumstances.
But
Yeah.
Wednesday, we're shooting it Wednesday.
We're gonna shoot it this week, and it's gonna be basically the scientific method of trying to figure out what's up with Ouija boards. I don't
Yeah,
believe in it. But what I want to stress to you is that me and my intrepid crew of explorers,
us.
That is us.
yeah, namely my lab
Yeah,
crewmates,
exactly. Hot science crew.
we're going to do some hot science, and we're going to figure out using the scientific method whether me using a Ouija board will create results.
Yeah.
So if we get results, they weren't faked.
They're not fake. We don't want to do anything that makes you think that we're doing any kind of trickery. We're doing this for hot science. We're doing
Yeah.
it for science.
Doing it for
Capital
science.
S, baby.
Capital S.
We're just fans of Mythbusters and
Well, everybody.
not just Mythbusters.
Everybody
but,
we talk to is terrified of a Ouija board. Anytime we talk to people or like try to talk about the idea, like, what if we were to film using a Ouija board and see what happens and blah blah blah. Everybody's like, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Which I found very surprising.
It's bad vibes. But the fact that they're doing that makes me want to do it even more. It's like, come on, like let's debunk this thing. Why has nobody done it before?
exactly.
I'm sure plenty of people have, but the difference is I want to do it in a style to where it's like, we're not doing this to showcase our personalities. We're not doing this to showcase the entertainment value of doing this experiment.
I want to see Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, this is the facts.
Shows me what happens whenever.
I don't think we can get Bill Nye, but I'll do it.
But
That's
Brad's
what
gonna
I'm
do
saying.
it.
We can't get Bill Nye the Science Guy to do it. So instead of Bill Nye the Science Guy, we get you to film yourself making and using a Ouija board.
Well, to tease this first episode, what we've got lined up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a Ouija board using the most basic materials that I can find, because from my research on the internet, you don't have to do anything super special.
Yeah,
You don't have
basically
to.
just make the
Yeah,
machine.
it's like you can
It's
go.
a machine that you make.
You can
Yeah.
use a sheet of notebook paper. So what I did is I'm just going to get some poster board. I'm going to get a Sharpie. I'm going to write a Ouija board. Before you got me a little glass thing from a thrift store that we're going to use a planchette that magnifies the letters. And I'm just going to sit in a room and see if it works.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, because here's the thing is I don't think it'll work, but man, I hope it does.
Yeah, for real.
if it does,
We'll find out exactly. It's like I don't think it's going to work.
That's like
well,
seeing.
if it does, it's not faked.
That's
but that's the whole premise
seen
behind
it.
the thing.
Yeah.
Is our hypothesis is nothing is going to happen. But
No, the hypothesis is that if I use the Ouija board, this will happen because I want it to work.
Well, I remember.
I want it to work.
well,
being at a friend's
as a
house.
scientist, from a scientific standpoint,
We're not taking it from the skeptic's
I'm
view.
going
Yeah.
as the audio guy in this. I'm going into it as I think that this isn't going to work.
Honestly, I don't think it is either. But for the sake of the hypothesis, if I do X, then Y will be the result. So if I build this spirit board, then spirits will talk to me through it. That's the experiment that we're performing.
All right.
And while I personally believe that nothing's gonna happen, man, what if it does though? That's like going and talking to David Copperfield and being like, "How did you fly?" And he's like, "I just fly, bro."
He's like, I don't know. Man. It just does it, man.
I just think about flying and I
And,
fly.
yeah.
Well, fuck.
I think of happy thoughts, man.
I think happy thoughts. I just fly around.
All right. So
Fucking Peter Pan.
basically, if anything happens in this thing that we're about to embark on, we didn't fake it. It it is as it is.
It's for science, baby.
We're not
It's for
trying
science.
to. We're not trying to fake anything.
Well, we're going to escalate this to the point of absurdity because I want to take it from the ground level all the way up to 11.
Well, yeah, okay.
If
yeah,
nothing
we really
happens
need to,
in the
that's a
beginning,
great-
we're going to do everything that you're not supposed to do. We're going to
Yeah,
Brad's going to drink goat's blood or whatever the fuck we have to make him do.
The
yeah,
worst
like,
of the
we'll-
worst.
Yeah, we'll light
exactly.
the black candle.
Let's provoke the
do
devil himself, you know, like-
whatever. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's all relative to what we discover.
And here's the thing is I think we're going to film it, and it's probably going to be the most boring documentary in the world.
Oh man,
Because nothing's going to happen, but man, at least we explored it. So if you want to ride that adventure, be sure to keep your eyes on the
we'll plug
Lazy
it.
Monday Productions. We don't have anything for that yet. You just watch this YouTube channel. Just keep doing what you're doing. We'll put a notification up. We'll link to it.
Yeah, just keep being beautiful
You can
as
see
hell.
us do stuff.
But hey, going back to it, Lazy Monday Productions is putting that stuff together. Be sure to watch that, check it out, and if you like it, contact us. You can get us at hotsciencepodcast31 at gmail.com. I will read that, and I'll say, hey, let's do a little consultation,
Let's
baby.
do a little consultation.
Let's talk.
Let's do it.
Let's talk,
Yeah.
baby. So if you're out there, you're interested, hit us up. If you need proof, watch B-Rad versus Black Magic.
Nice.
We'll talk to Satan. Maybe see me get possessed. That's one thing that
We've discussed
yeah.
the possibilities.
well, Matt's wife keeps asking me. It's like, what happens?
Honestly,
if it
we do
works?
have a contingency if Brad gets possessed.
You take me to the hospital.
take me to the fucking hospital, right there. That's what you do.
And then what am I going to tell the people at the hospital?
This motherfucker's possessed. I got it on tape.
He's
We
messing
made an
around with-
internet video,
Yeah.
and here's the internet video of Brad conjuring the devil into himself.
Okay.
And now he is the devil.
No shit. Extra interesting thing I learned on the internet. I saw a thing where a kid was filming a stunt for YouTube. He used like heat expanding insulation gel, cut a hole in a microwave, put it on his head, filled it with insulation gel, and then heated that motherfucker up.
No shit.
Yeah.
And they had to call.
No, they had to cut him
they
out.
had
I
to
read
call
about this.
911 to cut him out of that motherfucker.
What was this
Yeah.
kid expecting to fucking happen?
He was an idiot kid.
Millennials, dude. I mean, they're the smartest people. They invented Instagram, but holy shit, they're putting their heads in microwaves, dude. What the fuck?
Hey guys, if
man.
you've liked what you've listened to, be sure to make a comment on this video.
Oh, absolutely.
You can also email us at hotsciencepodcast31@gmail.com. At hotsciencepod is the Twitter handle that you can check out. I've posted like a couple things on there. Get that thing
Really
kicking,
getting it
baby.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, get that thing kicking off.
Kick it.
Send me stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Joyous Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
I don't really get into any of that stuff. So just be happy being alive, man. And thank you
Truth.
for deciding to listen to this podcast. Hey, man, we want it to be about you too. So send in any comments, send in anything you want to hear on this podcast. Give me some feedback. Let's build a community, baby. I'll make you an admin. Shit.
No, he won't.
I
No, he
will
won't.
give you the password to the Facebook.
I will
Hey,
give you
man.
all of my passwords. You can.
I'm
have
not talking about
yeah.
that. I'm talking
You
about
can
like
have my bank account.
No, we're gonna set. One of our beautiful, lovely, smarter than me listeners is gonna set up some forum. Baby, I'll make you like the head forum guy.
That's true. That's true.
I'm gonna say this is Brad Cotter, and this has been Hot Science Podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. Come in next week when hopefully we will have Randy, the conspiracist, on to talk about the truth of the moon landing. We're gonna find about what the fuck NASA's doing with Matt's crazy shit, and we're probably gonna talk about some movies and some video games and some other interesting shit.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Tune in.
I love you. Good night.